Earth's great landmasses, home to millions of species of animals who clash in nature's savage battle of survival. But what happens when these terrestrial titans turn against each other? Animals fight tooth and claw to win food, territory, and rights to the bloodline. From suburbia to the wilderness of Africa, there are no rules. This is Animal Fight Club. Cheetahs, the fastest terrestrial animal in the world. Long legs, low body mass, and large lungs combine to form a sweet spot of speed and elegance. They cover the ground at up to 60 miles per hour. They overtake their prey and then strangle them to death with their vice-like jaws. A perfect combination of beauty and beast. The Serengeti Plains, Africa. Male cheetahs live in small packs, 2 or 3 strong, called coalitions. These two are brothers, and they're patrolling their 30-square-mile patch. Cheetahs are highly promiscuous, and they'll mate with as many females as they can find and win from other frisky males. Now, a rival coalition has crossed into the brothers' territory. Their legs stiffen, and their heads drop below their shoulders, signaling aggression. The hairs on their backs stand up, controlled by hormones surging through their bodies. High alert. Their heart rate is increasing, and with it, their use of energy. The two coalitions are 300 feet apart, but their eyesight, 6 times sharper than a Navy SEAL, is locked on target. Older brother makes his charge. It takes him 3 seconds to hit 60 miles per hour, twice the speed of an Olympic sprinter. He's 50% raw muscle, powering a 130-pound body forward. His heartbeat is now doubled, racing at almost 250 beats a minute. He can only sustain this explosive pace for 30 seconds. He's on the enemy and straight into battle. The strategy is to intimidate and overwhelm as quickly as possible. Older brother has the attacker in a hold. But he can't see he's being encircled by another foe. The tables turn. Now he's under attack from 2 cheetahs, trying to strangle him to death. He manages a counterblow. Cheetah paws are harder than those of other cats. The pads, like tire treads, are built for speed and vicious fighting. It's a deadlock. Neither side can assert dominance. They are exhausted. The fight has depleted their short-burst energy levels. Their hearts and lungs work frantically, pumping oxygen through their blood supply, trying to reverse the buildup of lactic acid in their muscles. It could take up to 30 minutes to fully recover. But they don't wait that long. These cheetahs' bodies surge with adrenaline. The drive to establish mating rights is so strong, they won't back down, even with survival at stake. It's a fight to the finish. The brother gets his teeth into an attacker, and he's not letting go. Weakened by a fight that's gone on too long, the attackers simply don't have the energy to fight back. The brothers have proved their worth and held their territory. But it's been a brutal fight. One attacker has paid the price. Cheetah fights kill, and the victors may even eat him. From speed on the ground to agility through the treetops, capuchin monkeys are one of the most violent in the whole of South America. This young monkey is only 2 years old, but he's 3 pounds of live muscle and can travel through branches at up to 35 miles per hour. He's part of a 20-strong posse of capuchins. They have the run of some prime forest real estate, the best water and trees, which means the best food for the crew. Territory this good doesn't stay uncontested for long. A raiding party is on its way. More wild capuchins are killed by fighting than any other cause of death, and their faces show it. A capuchin's brain weighs almost 3 ounces, relatively larger than most monkeys. They use their intelligence to communicate danger through barks and coughs. The alarms are rung. It's every monkey to his post. Three-and-a-half-inch razor-sharp teeth, 3 times the size of humans, can rip through skin and flesh. The youngster must prove himself in battle for the first time. It's hand-to-hand combat. Capuchins think nothing of killing each other. Each monkey is trying to land a bite without being bitten. And they don't care where. The attacker has fought his way out of the bite zone. He's got the youngster in a wrestling hold. He can now inflict maximum damage and risk none in return. The youngster's in terrible pain. But he uses the strength and flexibility of his shoulders to break the death grip and free himself. His timing is good. His posse has won. But at a terrible price. A wound, laceration, or broken bone in the wild can easily result in infection and a slow, lingering death. The youngster licks his wounds. He's won his first battle, but it's only a matter of time before the war starts again. Just like the forests, the wide open plains of Africa reward the fearless. African warthogs are a distant cousin of the pig family. The warts on their faces, pads of flesh and bone, protect them during fights, while their huge upper tusks, nearly 20 inches long, go into attack mode. One of nature's ultimate fighting machines. This male warthog is having a bad day. A naughty piglet has stepped out of line, and he isn't putting up with it. He sets off after the upstart, only to run into his 250-pound mother. Female warthogs will fight anyone who attacks their children, even an angry male. But woman trouble is just the start. His day is about to get a whole lot worse. Being top pig just means there's no shortage of pretenders to his crown. Two warthogs square up for a fight. A dirt toss with the snout is asking for trouble. They show each other their muscular bodies. 330 pounds of raw power, up to 5 feet in length. A display of male aggression and intent. They sniff each other out, detecting pheromones, hormones that seduce the ladies, but prime the guys to fight. The hairs on their backs are upright. It's called piloerection, a sign of adrenaline surging through their bodies. Preparation for imminent danger. They lock teeth, the huge 20-inch canines grappling with each other. Hundreds of pounds locked down to see who will back out first. Snouts designed for digging now double up as protective shields for their faces. When these two heavyweights clash, it's a quarter ton of muscle and bone colliding. Their strategy is now to seek out the other's vulnerable, unprotected spots. They push each other's heads down into the earth, battling to keep the other's teeth as low to the ground as possible. One stab of those lower canines could pierce the neck and do serious damage. The male has stood his ground and seen off a vicious threat to his status. The attacker heads back to the bush. He's lost his chance to mate this year. From the vast plains of Africa to somewhere far closer to home, most badgers live out in the countryside, but many have set up camp on the edge of suburbia. And if you think humans can get irate with their neighbors, badgers take it to a whole different level. They're one of the few animals who will actually kill each other for territory. Nothing will stop them in their hunt for food and the battle to stay alive. This 30-pound female badger is on the lookout for food for her family. Human trash, high-quality throwaways such as meat and protein, is their version of gourmet. This mom could feed her kids on it for days. Her claws are designed for digging tons of earth for underground burrows. Her small, sharp, highly pointed teeth are up to 2 inches in length. They're ideal for meat-eating and gnawing through roots, and for breaking through even the toughest of man-made materials. And after 10 minutes of tenacious clawing, she's in. Party time. Food for her kids. Except for one massive problem. The garbage can is on another badger's patch. Badgers can be highly territorial. If one encroaches into another's space, they'll fight to the death to keep their patch. This fight is going to get ugly. Confined in the trash, there's nowhere for these mamas to go. Their tails flick, a clear sign that they're under intense threat. They growl, both frightened. The attacker gains the upper hand. She's attempting to bite straight through skin and into an opponent's flesh, while tactically avoiding being bitten herself. A badger's bite is powered by muscles called temporalis, attached to the sagittal crest, a fixing point at the top of the skull. They're joined to the jaw, and when they contract, they produce a bite capable of ripping through hide. If she can't get free, she'll suffer extensive tissue loss and could easily die from her injuries. She looks like she's seen off the onslaught. But the angry attacker won't give up. Mom has the attacker in a hold. The fight has raged for over 10 minutes, and finally, a throwdown. It'll be a down-home feast for this mom's young tonight. From suburban skirmishes to one of nature's greatest wild beasts. Out in the African wetlands, a heavyweight henchman watches over his harem of wallowing female hippos. Big Daddy has got 20-inch canines and a set of jaws strong enough to bite a boat in half. One of his main roles in life is to protect his family from monsters like this. It's Jaw War. Big Daddy is in fight mode. He's under attack from a challenger for his female harem. Hippo jaws hinge to jackknife the skull upwards. They open to an angle of over 150 degrees, wide enough to fit the average 7-year-old child. They're armed and ready with 6-inch forward-pointing teeth spears, which drives straight into the opponent's flesh. Hippos have no natural predators and don't hunt for prey. They're vegetarians, and all their aggression and awesome power is geared to one thing: fighting each other. The standoff goes on for over an hour. Hippo fights don't usually last this long, but this one is evenly matched. Stalemate. Hours later, this tourist video shows the fight has progressed to dry land. The 4-ton attacker is savagely grinding and goring Big Daddy. Hippos have huge volumes of blood, but he's losing pints from his wounds. And the attacker won't stop. Hippos can run at up to 30 miles per hour, but Big Daddy is so badly injured, he hasn't got the physical energy to escape. Hippo skin is almost an inch thick at the rear end, but the attacker is gouging through it to increase blood loss and cause death. He rakes his huge teeth down Big Daddy's back. His canines, sharpened through constant grinding, are perfect for slashing and cutting his enemy. When hippo fights get to this stage, there is only one outcome. When the sun rises, Daddy's dead. And the attacker is showing his softer side to his new family. From goring teeth to 5-foot swords, this young oryx is coming of age. 2 years old, he's reaching maturity and turning into a prime specimen of one of Africa's most spectacular animals. His distinguishing 5-foot horns double his overall height, and it's time to make his move with the ladies. But he's got one rather large problem: Bighorn. He's had the run of the girls, and this old bruiser isn't going to give them up easily. The youngster swings his head. He's mirroring the older male, refusing to give ground. It's his sign of violent intent. These spear-like horns are symbols of authority, used to both deter and attack. Made of the same material as human fingernails, keratin, they enable the oryx to launch aggressive blows without pain. His strategy is to wrestle Bighorn into a position and deliver a massive blow. The horns face backwards. They need a special technique to turn them into a fighting weapon, a backward headbutt with a 5-foot spear. It looks like the youngster is going to deliver the knockout blow when disaster strikes. A horn pinned in the ground means the young oryx is completely vulnerable. He's left himself open to a bighorn attack. These horns are thin, and if they snap, he'll lose the fight and the females. Just in time, he pulls it free. And it's now full-on fight mode. It's a game of head chess to see who can land the victory blow. Finally, he gets into position and sinks his horn into Bighorn's flesh. Oryx hide is half an inch thick, so strong it's been used in tribal shields. There's no blood, but it's a knockout blow. The youngster wins the Battle of Bighorn, and with it, the rights to females of the species. From a fight on 4 feet to an even more brutal one on 6, the Namibian desert is one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. Almost no rainfall and temperatures of up to 140 degrees. This harshest of habitats is home to one of the hardiest of animals. Dune ants will do anything to survive in this wilderness. Gruesome hand-to-hand combat. They'll chop off each other's legs, even decapitate each other. Anything to protect their family and stay alive. Dune ants live in underground colonies, up to 16,000 strong. Survival is a constant struggle in the intense heat. They rely on honeydew drawn from bugs who live on the sparse desert plants. But with resources this precious, they're under constant threat from rival colonies. This female soldier ant leads her troops into battle. The sand is a searing 140 degrees. Her long legs keep her a critical 1/4 of an inch from the desert floor. This keeps them as much as 15 degrees cooler. Otherwise, she'd be fried alive. She sizes up the enemy. Dune ants have very hard exoskeletons. Like a suit of armor, they're almost impregnable. Their mandibles are like bolt cutters, diamond-tipped safe breakers, designed to go for the most vulnerable spots, like the antenna. The strategy is to disable and immobilize the opponent, to rip off and remove as many limbs as possible, attacking the joints and the legs. And once she's done that, she goes in for the kill. The soldier ant has got her foe in a brutal neck hold, applying lethal pressure in an attempt to decapitate her opponent. These wars can go on for weeks and can result in hundreds of casualties and dead. The soldier ant has won this time, but it's a hollow victory. She's lost 2 legs in the battle. She retreats, but her body is now so low to the desert floor, it's only a matter of time before she cooks to death in the searing heat. From gang fighting on the baking sands to a far more individual battle. Out on the Mongolian plains, wild asses graze peacefully. They're a cousin to domestic horses. But out here, they're truly wild and answer only to themselves. This young wild ass, a perfect specimen with good looks and an impressive turn of pace. His 500-pound body is 60% raw muscle. He's also virile and very frisky. And as mating season arrives, it seems he's in for a summer of love. Except here, on the Mongolian plain, it's the girls who decide who they mate with. It's a dating game, wild ass style. The young ass's main threat is from an older, jealous stud who lashes out at him. A vicious kick with his powerful rear end. But it's just an opening shot. The older male now chases him. They can run over 40 miles an hour. And he's got one target in sight. His strategy is to attack the most vulnerable part of the leg. His hamstrings. If he can bite them, he'll disable him. A wilderness death sentence. This young wild ass is being chased by a jealous older male. He's trying to cripple him, to bite into his hamstring. But the youngster launches a counterattack. The impact of an ass's kick can be as strong as being hit by a car traveling at 20 miles per hour. The force of the kick has badly shaken his brain, causing a temporary paralysis, a stall in its nervous functioning. The youngster sees his opening, and he goes for the older male's neck. He bites deep down into vulnerable flesh, inflicting intense pain, while they're both trying to assert dominance, to prove their manhood to the watching gallery. The older male looks like he's fighting back, but the youngster moves in for a final put-down. He uses his body weight to keep his rival down on the ground. It's complete humiliation. The helpless alpha male has picked a fight with the wrong ass. There's nothing the old fella can do but submit to his fate and accept that this year, it's the youngster who'll be running with the girls. From one of the most public displays of virility to one of the most hidden. Out in the forests, tranquility reigns, and this tree stands serenely in the heat. But for the army of stag beetles that live in it, nearly every branch is a wrestling ring. The potential scene of a bout. These are one of Europe's largest terrestrial insects, heavyweight wrestling champions of the insect world. This male stag beetle spends his waking hours scouring a tree for an elusive empty branch to feed and look for females. And he's gotten lucky. He's struck girl heaven. But he's making a terrible mistake. The branch is already home to another male beetle. Over half his body length is made up of vice-like jaws called mandibles. These are what they fight with. It's wrestling, stag beetle style. Whoever can deliver the winning slam down will have the chance to reproduce. But a lost battle could mean the loss of the bloodline. Powered by tiny but incredibly strong muscles, the stag beetle's jaws extend to over 2 inches. With that kind of leverage, they can bench press each other with ease. The newcomer has the homeowner in a hold. He's attempting a winning throwdown. These beetles only live for 3 months. Every battle is one for survival. If he can throw him from the branch, it'd be the equivalent of a human falling from a skyscraper. Slam down. The older beetle is cast to the forest floor. His tough exoskeleton means he survives the huge fall. But he's lost the all-important chance to reproduce. And the newcomer can breed in peace until it's his turn for a visit from the beetle repo man. From high-level wrestling to ground-level boxing, this young hare is a prime male with a handsome set of ears, whiskers to die for, and hind legs that can run up to 50 miles per hour. He sees himself as a meadowland catch, and he's got his eyes set on this lovely lady. But female hares are unique in the animal world. They're only in heat for a few hours a day. If she's not ready, he'd better have his guard up. This female hare is fighting off the advances of an amorous suitor. Her paws are built to run at high speed, and in fight mode, that allows her to keep pounding his face at up to 5 beats per second. It may look like playful sparring, but the claws on each paw are sharp. Any one of these jabs can scar, rip fur from the body, and seriously injure. The female is also strategically testing out the male to see if he's got the stamina to be a suitable mate. Hares have a great strength-to-weight ratio. Light skeletons and powerful rear ends, a combination that allows them to stand on their back legs and trade blows. Hares have big, powerful hearts. With breaks between rounds, these cuddly-looking creatures can keep pummeling each other all day. He's passed the test. She's back in heat. And all is forgotten. Fighting becomes flirting, and the meadowlands echo to the sounds of love. But hares aren't the only animals to use their feet for more than running. Wildfowl are renowned the world over for their ferocious fighting. And turkeys take it to a whole new level. This male turkey is a proud ladies' man. His beard is 9 inches long. It shows he's a mature male. He's got a plumage to pose with. And his gobbling neck is designed to send out mating calls, which can be heard up to a mile away. When mating season arrives, he's got his sights set on having the run of the females. Except he's got competition. Big Boy has got a fight on his hands. Hormones trigger a release of blood into their necks, turning their skin from blue to bright red. It's a danger sign, a signal it's fight time. It might look like flapping, but it's actually kickboxing with natural weapons. He's got pointed spurs on his legs, 2 inches long, curved, and very sharp. This is a cutthroat fight. The attacker's strategy is to gain height on the opponent, to land a blow without being vulnerable to attack. Turkeys can't fly far, but they can use their wings to get enough height to direct their spurs into vulnerable areas, like the head. Big Boy's only option is to use a different tactic. He uses his beak to peck and pierce the upstart's neck, head, and eyes. He's inflicting maximum damage, but also defending himself from being pecked. And it works. The ladies' man has shown his mettle and seen off the upstart. He puffs out his plumage, advertising to the girls he's won the fight, and heads back to enjoy their company.